That's practice today.
Worry. As they started like the things like real slow. But usually they are real little quicker. I don't know if it's a good thing to tell them to programs. Because then, yes, 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 yes.
Hold the microphone like this.
Yeah.
Do the whole thing here.
But you know, there's a mic, like they can't hear because of the mic.
Sandy always says no to the back here. And when he didn't do the microphone, I told him, here.
So they can hear you, but not her. Okay, okay.
Let us do. Okay.
Got you.
I'm gonna try holding that, see if that works better. And I'm sorry, I really had to interrupt, and ring the bell because everyone was having such great conversations. So feel free to stay after it and continue to do that. But welcome to Rotary. I'm so excited to see everyone today, and we will start by asking Steve Boatner to provide our invitation. Steve.
Lord, we're thankful for this day and for another opportunity to gather together as Rotarians. Thank you for this time of fellowship. We thank you for this time to offer up service above self as we seek to serve those in our community. Lord, we just ask that you would bless the actions of this club, that we would offer up the type of service that would be pleasing in your sight. We thank you for the food that we receive. Pray that you would use it to nourish our bodies so that we can better serve you. And we're thankful for our speaker, just ask your blessing on him as he comes to us today, and continue to bless his organization and the men and women that it is set aside to honor, that have fallen and sacrificed, and in some cases even died, so that we can enjoy the freedoms that we have, such as today, to come and serve you as Rotarians. Lord, all these things we ask in your Son's name. Amen. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge.
With the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. And Darren's going to come and introduce us.
Okay, we have one visitor. She's going to be a member here, hopefully, as soon as she gets her email sent to her. Her logo, from Scouting America. Where are you at? Where are you at? Oh, there she is at the back table. Anyhow, welcome you.
Okay, well, a great day again today, and we do have some birthdays, club member anniversaries, and wedding anniversaries to announce. Kevin Henderson has a birthday on August 27th. Henry Jacobs has a birthday today, August 28th. John Harold tomorrow, August 29th. Happy birthday, John. Marquette Baker is August 31st, and Rex Campbell is August 31st as well. So those are the birthdays. Happy birthday. And then club member anniversaries, Jerry Scarborough, 11 years on August 28th today. And Chuck Newman, 40 years on August 29th tomorrow. So congratulations to you. And I think, Chuck, this is 40 years of perfect attendance as well, right? So something to shoot for. Congratulations. And then wedding anniversaries, Ken and Marcy Miles, 35 years on August 26th, and Trip and Megan Penn, 30 years on August 27th, yesterday. So congratulations to all of you. I do have two more. Sorry, I forgot to turn the page. Tara and Tim Ogletree, 21 years today. Chef Tara, congratulations. And Tom and Deb Guffin, 6 years on the 31st. So again, congratulations. And club announcements, Scott, John, do you have anything to share? Anything big going on in a few days?
Always have something.
24 days, actually, 24 days away.
Thank you. Couple things. On each table, there is a list that looks like this. If you have told, if you wanted to volunteer and gave me information, hopefully you're going to be on this list. If you want to volunteer and your name is not on the list, please add to the fact that something that's on that list with names, and email address, and short sign. Those are the most important things, okay? And then I'll be back in touch with you. We're doing well in volunteers. Actually, we have more volunteers than runners right now. If you're not sure of the assignment that I put on here, that's okay. We're flexible. You'll show up on that Saturday morning about 8 o'clock. I'll find something for you. Okay? So keep that in mind. But you need your contact information and shirt size. If you get a nice volunteer T-shirt, the color is a secret right now. So, we want to take care of that. In Jeff Wright's notice bulletin that came out this week, you'll see that I put out a plea for contribution. I'd like to see it come from Rotarians or people that you know, but you can influence. We need finish line bottled water. Okay, I'd rather not have to club by that. I'd rather have to go to it. So if you can do that and you're interested in it, see me or John. If the other thing we need is kind of snacks, bring snacks. Traditionally, it can be bananas, it can be energy bars, things like that, but enough to hopefully cover about 120, 130 people. So if you have questions about it or want to volunteer that'd be great. John?
I just want to say thank you to everyone who has already contributed in any fashion, whether it was a gift, sponsoring a team, or any other capacity. Thank you so much.
We need runner sign up. We need people to go to runsignup.com and sign up to run. Thank you.
I was going to say, if you forget, runsignup.com, just Google Rotary 5K and it pops up and you can go that way as well. So that makes it easier. Thank you both so much. We do have time for a few happy dollars. So looks like John's up first.
No jackets.
I want to thank Mike Wilson, Jake Jones, and Bill Stock for such a great program last night with Dale Murphy. I was so inspired. The quote that he said, I printed it off, typed it, and put it in the West Georgia Star program for every child to hang. Because he said, Dale Murphy, don't let the fear of striking out get in the way of hitting the homes. I think more kids need to hear that.
I have a happy dollar for Tim, and I'll tell you why. 40 years of perfect attendance does sound impressive. But for those of you that are new in Rotary, you may not realize just how impressive it really is, because we weren't always able to make up meetings by reading something or going to a board meeting. Chunk did most of those 40 years the hard way, And when I first started out on the desk, when I was a club administrator early on in my time with this club, it was very rare that he didn't come in with a little proof that he had been somewhere in Georgia, Alabama, wherever, and had been to a Rotary meeting previously. So kudos to you.
As Connie said, 34 years ago, Megan saw this awkward looking narrative well and said, I can fix that. Tragically, it's not made much progress. But I hope they still committed to the 30 or so years.
All so much. Those are certainly some happy dollars. And now let's see, Darren is going to come and introduce our program. So thank you.
Thank you, President Conlon. Okay, just kind of put something together here to introduce our guest speakers. So July 2010, 4 fellow majors and I, recent graduates of the U.S. Army Command and General Staff College, were assigned to 3rd Brigade, 3rd Infantry Division, Fort Benning, Georgia. We had to go through IRT, which is individual replacement training down at Fort Stewart. Then we flew to Iraq. We were picked up at Baghdad International Airport by the Brigade Scout Platoon and transported to Forward Operating Base Kalsu, which was about 20 miles south of Baghdad. They put us into what they call CHUs, containerized housing units. Basically, it's a Connex. The shipping containers you see out there on the rail cars, that's what we, those were where we lived. And they were all nice, but they weren't wet. So ask someone that's been downrange and they'll tell you the difference between a wet and a dry CHU. Anyhow, it was nice because it did have air conditioning though. Next morning, we met our new brigade commander and got to work. Pete Jones exemplifies the quality of leader every soldier wants to follow. He's tough but fair. He's friendly but professional. And he leads from the front with the welfare of those in his charge, directing all his actions. So anybody, probably not a lot in here, but if you commanded 3rd Brigade, 3rd Infantry Division, that was, you were almost, you knew you're going to, those guys were going on to be generals, okay? It was the kingmaker position. I can't think of really any brigade commander out there that didn't make it. And it's just it was a fantastic organization. And unfortunately, they case the colors and it's no more. There's only 2 brigades down at Fort Stewart. But at the time, Colonel Jones, he did get promoted. So he is a Brigadier General retired Peter Jones. After 32 years of service, he retired in 2017 as the 56th Commandant and Chief of Infantry at the United States Army Infantry School at Fort Benning. Pete is a decorated combat leader with over 48 months of combat deployments, broad overseas experience and cultural understanding in Asia, Europe, and the Middle East, including Afghanistan. Today, he is the president and CEO of the nonprofit National Infantry Museum Foundation and president of PLJ and Associates. They provide consulting support and subject matter expertise across the DoD industry and research institutions. Pete is on the B.E. Myers and Company Advisory Board and the Board of Directors for Partners in Performance America. Pete is a West Point graduate. He also holds advanced degrees from Georgetown University, U.S. Army Command General Staff College, National Defense University. He's a recipient of the Bronze Star Medal for Valor, the Combat Infantryman's Badge, the Parachutist Badge, and the Ranger Tab. He's married to his wife, Stephanie, has 2 sons, Lincoln and Thayer. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you hammer 6 for Brigadier General Retired Pete Jones.
I've actually known that was the best replace on council. He did point out that it's a rocket tax. You don't know the answer. But you know, one of the ways I may give you some other ones that probably more flamboyant for me would be meaningful. I'm 3rd generation infantryman. I have a 4th generation son, Sergeant Jones. Therefore, I'm an Army brat. I've moved over 26 times, so you have to ask me where I was at some point in time, went through 3 different high schools. If I'm settled in Columbus, his second son, we decided wasn't going to go through 3 like his old. Proud father, husband, and now run a nonprofit that basically, first of all, how many folks have been to meetings? All right, well, hopefully you'll be able to persuade some of you to continue to bring folks back down there because we are continuing to grow and we're doing some of that growth. We're continuing to change. But first of all, therefore, we're going to do a little test. Next slide, please. What is the #1 free museum in the United States according to USA Today Reader's Poll? National History Museum. Not once, but 6 times in a row. We have beat out the Smithsonian. We have beat out the Air and Space Museum, the Holocaust Museum, and also all the other museums. Next slide. Keep going. What is ranked as one of the top 12 military museums in the world? All the above. So if you think about it, at the end of the cold stat of 185, we have a museum that ranks right up there. If you've ever been to the Imperial War Museum, the #1 museum in the United Kingdom, in London, we rank with Blazing the Lodge in Paris. You won't be able to get there probably right now, but also the Patriotic War Museum in Austin. So we also rank up there with the other 2 service museums, and if you ever been to school, the Naval Air Museum is phenomenal. That's also considered one of the top 12. What's interesting about that? Well, the USA Today poll is based on these votes, the number of people vote. This one was done by a blind set of advisors team. So hats off to our volunteers. Next slide. Highest rated attraction in the state of Georgia, according to TripAdvisor. And more Coca-Cola. I have to be nice to Coca-Cola. Next slide. So not only have we done that, but we've also won the next slide, please. We keep going here, the THEA Award, which is the Theater and Entertainment Award, the Georgia Arts and Humanities. And then, like I said, #1 in terms of trivia. We're still growing. I'm going to show you how we're doing. Because we have, I think, a great mission. Next slide. But that mission has always been to honor soldiers and educate. But as you can see, while we've been in one location for 15 years, the museum is actually 77 years old. It started after World War II with a bunch of cold veterans. Really, I think it's a bunch of veterans stop. Please get this stuff out of the house and get it stop. So they decided to build everything on Benton Road back then, going across the Upatoy Creek. They built a little hut there. It was a guard shack that became the first museum. And then that's in barracks over the next 14 years. And then James Woodruff, great member of the Bradley Board, said, hey, we need to do raise some money. And that started the progress of actually building the museum. We're the only, besides really, I think the only museum in the 47th in the Army inventory is that while we're close to Fort Moore/Fort Benning, we're not inside the gate. All the other museums are inside the gate. So I'll talk about that in terms of our mission statement as well. Then we went to the old hospital, which is now the Western Hemisphere Institute for National Security Studies. So it's kind of neat because my dad was born there in 1932.
Oh.
So it became a hospital, I told him, and then he passed away. But he was there when this museum was actually our museum. Grand opening was June 19th, 2009. What was really neat is Cole Howard was the keynote speaker, the great instrument. He cut the ribbon. And you can see Jerry White, the former post commander, was one of the folks that actually was the main stage was allowed us to build. Next slide. So our mission is pretty clear: honor soldiers and their families, past, present, and future. So before veterans create really important. I was on the meeting committee. It is now the only learning installation
that is named after our husband and wife, which has a really unique circumstances that because they are also very in the history. If you're watching the movie, any questions in your folders? If you haven't, please do it. We are told there's Mel Gibson plays Lieutenant Colonel Hal Moore. Dan Elliott plays Sir Major Connolly, and it's the story of the 7 Cap, Husband Gold Unit, but deployed to Vietnam, and that was the first major battle between the U.S. forces and North Vietnamese Rangers. The Battle of the Island, and tells a great story. But the other one is I think we'll all agree. I know there's some teachers, educators in the room, but we have a problem telling sometimes our history, and therefore, what ends up coming from lack of history is a lack of emphasis. So while we're in the museum, I tell everybody, we don't just tell the story of the industry, we tell the story of the army, and therefore we tell the story of the nation. If you go out the last 100 yards, the first thing you see, again, another history quiz, what's older, the army or the nation? 1775, 10 companies commissioned by Congress, and a young colonel by the name of George Washington, who was in uniform in Philadelphia, was told, get on your horse, go to Boston. Take over the militia, and then we're going to fight. 7 years. 1782, we finally had a strategic victory, which is our first demonstration there. At the Battle of Yorktown, that would lead to the Treaty of Paris, 1782. So we like to start there with that story and then lead on all the way out to the current day. Next slide. Technology kind of love it.
Gotta love it.
Okay. There we go. Before we get into we've already asked you about this. We actually, if you understand, these are the temporary buildings that were built in 1932 that were finally decommissioned, I think, in 2000. So that's a pretty good job. I thought that's the engineer here. If you have something that's built with wood, Georgia Farm, but we moved this whole, what we call World War II Company Street, you can see at the bottom picture, and that was really the first major contribution to the industry. And yes, the chapel was still used that for my son. Next slide. The museum itself is over 190,000 square feet, which makes us the largest museum in the National Museum of the United States Army. We sit on 53 operational acres, the largest being that parade field that you see there, which is known as Italy Field, and that's every infantry soldier who goes through basic training, advanced individual training, graduates. So we had over 17,000 years old that graduated there, and their family members, normally 5 or 6 family members per, we come to see that happen, because again, it's a milestone. We'll talk about memorials, but right now that Vietnam Memorial Plaza was the old traveling hall. It's now permanent with granite. And we'll talk about Global War on Terror, 2 other memorials that we're just completing on that. Next slide. If you look at the slide of numbers, we used to rank 17,000, we're now just under 11. And if you have a question about the creek, we have all kinds of characteristics of why we've had such a but you can see that affects our combat tower for Venus. It was also affecting normally we have around 220,000 visitors a year. We're down in 73. We are, besides the museum, we are a full-fledged catering event venue. So we do high school, we do weddings, we have our gala here recently. We can fit up to 650 people in the basement hall. We'll sit down, yield, dance. So I feel like I'm a little bit of everything. A theater, a store, again, a department, and an education department. So I get very next slide. Organizations that we have in the museum, just be clicking, there's a couple of them to build. there's a foundation and we're actually the landlords. The only representation that we have in the Army are 3 young civilians that are tied to the Centerville District. They go through. We only have in most museums, less than 30% of our holdings are on display in the museum, 70% are underneath. We have, for most folks who are gun enthusiasts, we have the largest arms room east of the river because we have every firearm or saber that the history carries since 1775. That's all. So every machine gun, every musket, every variation. And then we also have the organization, please. And they're a nonprofit. Their mission is to spread the word of the entry, the outreach to the entry. So I use them, if you've ever heard of the Order of St. Mary's and the Doughboy Award that we get annually for finance affected the entry. We did that. The first Doughboy recipient, which is kind of interesting, was not an Englishman. Which he was happening is all was Western, all the wars, especially Vietnam. Next slide. Financials. Anybody ever been in a nonprofit also realize we're a business? Okay, so I have to generate $6 million a year. Short. 1/3 of that is generated from the service contract with the Army, so I have a contractor. I raised another third, and then a third, like any other nonprofit, I have to be off by. Also had some very generous gifts from the state, and I say that because the citizens, I want to thank you. I'm going to show you what we do to commemorate not only our Vietnam veterans, but also our Gold Star surviving families, as well as what we're doing for our Vietnam veterans, such as that's sort of the forgotten over the years. More importantly for us in the state of Georgia, it's not just the start of the war, but it's also been part of the partnership. As you well know, Battle of Max allowed us to build and become recipients and partner with stamps on higher and other folks and help us. Next one. So this gives you an image on any Friday. We'll have a bunch of folders doing the training about the money. We'll be changing commands, change responsibilities. And then only that's what it looks like. Going down to the talk about that as well. I was thinking we also talked about 3 great young ladies, almost 248 days of radio school, and normally it's 64 days. Great ladies, really, I would say ladies of full period. Rice Saber. And that gives you a start of the first 100 yards of children director of education, talking about the value of patterns, give you examples of a panorama that we try. All the figures in there, except 2 or 3 of the historical ones, have actually been modeled after serving infantrymen. So they went up to New York City, full body pass, roll stuff up their nose, and then they were put into the scene with rushing, diving, whatever, and that became our dioramas at the backside. Next one. We do a youth education program. We're validating both the state of Georgia and the state of Alabama, K-12. So we do district civics. And we're pretty much very good at that. We partner with CSU, Auburn, and Mercer for part of their education and internship program. We study history and also help out with more in terms of their functional schools as well as professional development. Next slide. What we are. So I'll talk to you on your things or invitation from the 2 events that we have upcoming here within the next week and a half. We'll talk about that. But if you were to come down to the best ring competition in April, number 1, Harvest Event according to the ESPN. But we do the end of the last run there. We do also protocol events, promotion ceremonies. Next one. Some things we did in response to was obviously things for veterans groups, like I said, we do. I think we have a lot of chamber stores at the end, the meeting, holiday events, and then you can see us set up when we're full events down or when we're next slide. This is part of the mission, it's not a mission statement, but because of where we said, because of our changing demographics, we see ourselves as the bridge between the active force and unfortunately, because of that, we live behind the wall. Because security, I mean, most of you, and I live before 9/11, you could drive on Fort Henry. If you had a emergency hunting license, you could go to hunting areas and go hunt. And you became part of your neighborhood. What's interesting, for those of you not aware, the third brigade was there, which had almost 3,500 soldiers. So you have 7,000, most of them were kids, about 7,000 dependents. 70% good doctors. So those are the folks that went, go to your high school teams, assistant coaches, youth activities, and spouses running your own small businesses. So that lots of that brigade, I can also talk about, impacted Columbus for a couple of years, especially because you can imagine if you're real for a rental. So we're a bridge, and we have all kinds of events. We got Bill Biden came down with something for a military candidate. It was actually publicized, which I thought was great. We also support the Georgia Defense Commission and also our local media assistance. Next slide. Annual events, we just quick through. As you can imagine, for both Memorial Day, Veterans Day, we have favorite ceremonies and other educational events on those days. So we're open to the public on the 4th of July today, and we do bouncy houses. One of the things I get to meet only about 4 to 5,000 of my closest neighbors. Even in the heat. Parents love it because we got a lot of bouncy houses. So it's the greatest distraction if they don't go to the beach. We did our gala here just recently. Probably the biggest thing we do. A quick one more shot of that is we do the Global War on Terror dedication. Next, please. Show a couple of quick videos. I'm running out of time. I'm going to save some time for questions. But this gives you an idea of what we do and what we like to provide for folks that are. Go ahead, sir.
But you ready for the video?
Yeah, yeah.
Sure, I'm on the slide.
All right, we'll just skip the videos. In fact, we'll just skip that and we're gonna go to run. As a fellow Rotarian, I know about the Wanna Plants. So I'm gonna jump straight to the chase. We do have, as you see, one is on the afternoon of the 6th. We're going to dedicate a Gold Star. It doesn't. Didn't look like.
There it
We go. Yep.
That's it.
We'll just keep on going here. So keep. I'm losing all my spacing here. We will rededicate the Global War on Terror the night before on Friday, that 6th, at 4 o'clock, we're going to dedicate the Gold Star to our family. So, historically, back in World War I, Those who had any concerns put a banner in the window that was white and had a blue star on it. If by chance that service member did not return, the blue star became gold. That's what you heard about gold. There is also known as those families, surviving families, or next of kin families that they have not lost a loved one in combat, but lost a little one. The reason I say that is, as you look at the global war on terror, there are those older sailors, there are the Marines who have perished. So all this remember the USS Cole that was struck by a Iranian block movement. Those members, unfortunately, are not considered gold star. They're considered surviving next to kin. That does affect some of the benefits that we're seeing. We'd like to make sure even though they're killed by some restrictions. So our goal is to make sure that both families who lost loved ones always remember that they are. The other thing we'll do is on the morning of the 7th, if you come back at 9 o'clock, we will rededicate the local war on terror. Three of those are here from Georgia, which were those service members from a reserve engineer unit stationed at Fort Moore that was killed in Jordan by Iranian. The people don't remember those things. But we're also going to dedicate at the end of October, bring a war memorial that will be out there. So hopefully you can come down and take a look at that. Shoot through Darren some information on that as we go forward. Anybody ever heard of Colonel Ralph Puckett? So he is going to be pictured in there on the front of the Lieutenant Puckett as he raised the 8th Ranger in 1950. Pull to your classmates or your teenagers and start training a bunch of folks. Just we're being pushed back and sold back to the Tucson. You would take 50 years before you would be awarded a lot of those actions. What's interesting is what people don't realize, he received the Distinguished Service Cross from that, and then 18 years later, he would get another Distinguished Service Cross, which is second below the medal line. Again, great individual. But we'll also commemorate General Ponce Young, who was the Korean War of Washington. He was a 25-year-old one-star general, commanding over 8,000 South Korean soldiers when the North Koreans came across. And the standing order was, if you see me running, you have authority. You would go on to be their equivalent of the first 5-star general. And more importantly, he did come here to the museum. He was for South Korea. He built the metro system that would end up supporting in 1988. So very, very interesting here. His son, or grandson rather, actually is captain of the United States Army. He just so again, the relationship is built over. So what do you think about him doing? All right, next slide. If you can, please come and visit. If you have any questions on how you can join our Friends of the Museum Society or 1775 Society, please let me know. In addition, we have a lot of that stuff, my cards on your table, so please feel free to take some content out on me, but I'll take at least 1 or 2 questions. On copy. Well, in the museum, I actually have a staff full of 50, I have about 100 active volunteers that really do most of the work. Most of all those are civilian, many both male and female are veterans, or just family members who love the post. And out of the 50, there's only 5 of us that actually have served before. So we pull a lot, I also pull a lot, and a lot of spouses that work. If you look, again, another interesting fact, Penn Science Program was unique, and it was one of the only Army installations that was asked by the community to be established there. Historically, if you go to El Paso, and go to some of these other folks, you go to Fort Monroe, and Houston, there because of the border with Mexico, take care of Poncho Villa. Fort Benning was brought because the rotary, the power of the rotary and the Chamber of Commerce was spread back in 1917 because of solid. The reason I say that is Fort Benning is still the largest economic impact to Chattanooga Valley, $6.6 billion.
I have a two-part question. One question, the other is the why. Number one, of course, there's that numbers. The question is why, when we gone from 17,000 recruits to now 10,000? And then the second part I would say was I was just so surprised to learn yesterday that Jason Weldon's niece is in 7th grade and is a part of ROTC. And I thought, wow, she was being honored and got something fabulous. And, oh gosh, that's interesting. So that may be part of your solution, is that great?
What's interesting, I'll take the first one first. JRTC is a civic organization, but they're not allowed to do any military training other than athletic. All this again to build those systems. And what's interesting is very few JRTCers actually join one. If they do join, if they enlist, they actually come as part of the first class. So we actually pay grades, and not anyone within the to answer your first question, what do you think is the number one reason? I'll do this one first. The good picture. What is the percentage of military age males 17 to 35 that are even eligible to join? 1%. 25% of the whole age group. So, what disqualifies the majority of the 75% of 17 through 20 from joining? Is that? Fitness, so once they describe what part of fitness? They're overweight, yes. What's the second part of fitness? Yes, we have part of that. That's a part of the most COVID calls. We have to do that. What's that? No, actually medication. If you are put on ADHD medication, you are ineligible to enlist unless you can prove. You have to prove that you've been on it for a year. And unfortunately, we become one of a society that doesn't value athletics in school. And then the other part is, we very quickly, I'm sure that this is doctors in the room, but from a parent perspective, if we go to the drugs first, you don't realize the impact. And the other one is not just ADHD, but also depression. So we have a kids question. Everybody used to say, if I would ask this question 10 years ago, guess what people would say? Drugs. Nope, not anymore. Drugs is now down. The opposite of is out. And the third one is really the ASVAB test. It's number 3, and part of it because the math part of the ASVAB test is done in school. It's paper and a pen. You're not allowed to bring a calculator into the test. You have to show that you know how to multiply and divide. And that's why we have prep school now for Steve with the math. But without calculator, and then go through. And the last part of this is we got to go in marathon. So we do a bone density test and flexibility test for all our recruits that come in. Our kids do not train house food. They don't drink milk when they're growing up. They don't eat yogurt, don't eat cottage cheese. What do? They drink sodas. Or they drink flavored water. If you put a weight on someone's back who does not have the proper bone density, like how many positions in one? I'll give you a health flasher, and for you, the taxpayer, it just costs you $1 million. We own now that's over a lifetime of disability. Soldiers there, trainees, in there, we do the flexibility test, and then we actually will go and we put on institute a 4 or 5 meal a day program. Very housing competitive before we get them to the point where we need that at least 30 pounds.
Within the year, we went to the Army Museum, and they were trying to show a distinction between one being on the property. You mentioned going through the gate, and I don't think they're on the fourth ward property.
Yeah, they are, they're from the church, which is the backside. Yes, well, yes, there is, because the tree support facility, you went to the big tank farm, they have the third, like everything we've ever had. It's huge, it's over 300, developed tanks, I do too, you go in there. That actually is a training support facility, so it's not considered a museum, so actually training can pay for that. They don't need to have what we envision with that campus, is that museum is to the south side, or the north side of the building, we would have built that training support facility outside the gate, and then add a place for Michael. So that didn't. I will actually, because kind of a
Prior criminal history. And
that also is a non-receiver, but the benefit is a minor issue. Not a felony, it moves to especially if it's time served or especially for our youngsters if they've done a probation time. What we like to think is, not going to see this. We've seen with three-part immigrants who got their fast track citizenship because they deployed all that one in 2003 was my gun. I've seen kids who took the road family. It's a great place to start.
Thank you so much. That was very interesting. And if you're available to stay a little bit after,
Oh, I will.
we may have more questions. And maybe you'll appreciate this as a fellow Rotarian. We'll make a donation to Polio Plus in your honor. So thank you again. Couple of reminders. We have September 4th, Maddie Cook from Camp Southern Brown will be our speaker. September 11th, we have Ricky Young with National Armor and Cavalry Foundation. And then September 18th, we will not be here. We will support the United Way kickoff and we'll be at Delavant for that lunch. And we'll send reminders out for that as well. Last week, at our board meeting, we had a suggestion from one of our members that we end our meetings with the 4-way test. And so we're going to start doing that in our club. As a good reminder of the things that we need to think about and be considerate of as we go forward in our next week. So if you all will stand and recite the 4-way test with me. Great. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all? Sir. Will it be able to go with?
Hi, Miss April, how are you? Sure. Yeah.